Yeah, I love it when everyone except me has their dreams come true. It just makes my day.
Yeah. You don't sound bitter at all, Rena.
Thank you. I hide it so well. Super good at that.
Look, here's the thing, buddy.
Yeah.
I do feel for you, really, I do. But you could also just write fanfics and post them on the internet. This is not...
It's just not enough for me. I need the adore of the crowd. I need
that people leave kudos. My fanfics still get kudos. I've posted stuff from like years and years ago, and they still get love.
I know, but like, I need. Mine has to be from the right people. I need the people who made Persona to come and tell me how great I am.
Okay.
It's like if somebody else who also likes Persona is like, you did a great job. I'll be like, thanks, but.
I trust the fans, probably. Here's the thing. I've recently divorced J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter. So yeah. I at a certain point, I do understand what you're saying. But also, sometimes creators aren't all that. And I will take the adoration of other people who love things. Go for it.
Hello and welcome to Comic Dissection, a comic book club where we look at all of the comics you care to comicify through an intersectional leftist lens. Because, I don't know, nobody else is doing it as good as we are, so...
Well, and we've got one lens that we look through everything. Might as well make...
Honestly, it would be weird if one day we were just like, let's look through an Ayn Rand Atlas Shrugged lens this week. Just see what happens. I don't think we'd get there.
I'm not saying that I don't hate myself. I very clearly do. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I hate myself. I don't think I hate myself enough for that.
Yeah, you would, and I would just end up like Stephen Colberting it and like ironically being a total trying to uphold the libertarian ideals while secretly tearing them down from underneath.
See, you'd be clever and funny about it. I'd last like 10 minutes before I'd be like, who thinks like this? Why?
Shh, we do, Cecilia.
we do not. Oh. That would not last. It wouldn't.
Bye Coke money. That's not cocaine. That's the one Koch brother that hasn't died yet.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
Thank God.
He will either be dead or uploaded into the Matrix. Whatever happens to old rich people. But he won't be our problem anymore, and that's the day I'm looking forward to.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Speaking of getting uploaded into the Matrix and video games. I thought you were
saying speaking of looking forward to something.
Yes. I am looking forward to our book for today. We are discussing Persona 5, the first volume of the manga, which is, of course, based on the 2017, I believe, video game, Persona 5.
Very, very... like scene by scene based on.
It's funny because usually a manga, one of the interesting things about it, when it's from another medium, is to see the ways in which it deviates from the medium.
Yeah.
Ironically, we just released, as we are recording this, our Final Fantasy episode. Yeah. So I'm kind of starting to seem like a one-trick pony here. Like, I want to go back.
How many boys have kissed that I have picked out? Like, there's...
Yeah, I mean, we've
got our genres.
We is what we is, but we am's what we am's. And I am a sucker for Japanese RPGs. And the Persona series especially, because this one, much like the Final Fantasy, I've been with since the Persona 1, way back when. And the main idea that carries through all the games is you capture these personas, which are based on myth. And this can be everything from your Greek mythological, your African mythological, your Mexican mythological, like from all over the world. as well as fictional characters and monsters. So you'll have things like Bigfoot and the Mothman. You'll have things like Zorro and Captain Kidd. So
I'm sorry, you said Mothman, and I thought about all the cryptid stuff that I've seen, and then I thought about Mothman's caked ass in the sculpture, and I saw a meme not too long ago where they were shoving money in between his ass cheeks in in West Virginia where they actually have the statue.
We really should do a pilgrimage there to see that one day.
We really should. Mothman is my favorite thing in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Like, I love all of the moth shit. Give me all that moth.
Yeah. But, cryptids, characters from fictional books, anything. It's all drawn in to these personas. And it's also got the Pokemon aspect because usually there's like 100 of them in the game, 120, and you want to get all of them because you never know. Like it might be time for Ares, or it might be time for Yoshimitsu, or it might be time for Lucifer the Morning Star. You don't know who you need to take into battle.
People are nothing if not happy little collectors of things. So anytime a game or something can
it's such an easy button to push.
that particular dopamine butt lever, like it is. It's such an easy thing to push. You can just gotta collect them all. Gotta get all the little pieces. Put them all like that.
Currently playing a game called Ueden Heroes. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Or Ueden Chronicles. And it's all about collecting a bunch of people to fill your castle up and get all the fun things. So I have a type. But this one always has been a series that I loved. A friend of mine went through a surgery and they were going to be bedridden for a little while. They were like, "Oh, what games do you?" And I gave them Persona 3 and Persona 4. And I was like, "These are about 80 hours apiece, so this should help you out." And sure enough, over the couple of months that they couldn't get out of bed and off the couch, they beat both of them and told me I was very smart and wise.
Aww.
This book also...
Now we know why they're your friend.
That is all I need from friends, is to tell me I'm funny and smart. Kind of, it's very Riddler-esque of me. Just tell me I'm the smartest guy in the room and I'll be happy. This book also has special significance to me because my dear co-host Cecilia got it for me. Along with another one that is a kind of a one-shot that may or may not come along down the pike as well. But this was, the art and the story was written by Hisato Murasaki. This came out in January 2021. And Murasaki, a fan of the Persona games, very much like the people that did the Final Fantasy game, they were into it before they started doing the manga. And so, I love it when everyone except me has their dreams come true. It just makes my day.
Yeah. You don't sound bitter at all.
Thank you. I hide it so well. Super good at that.
Look, here's the thing, buddy. I do feel for you, really, I do. But you could also just write fanfics and post them on the internet. This is not.
It's just not enough for me. I need the adore of the crowd. I need
that people leave kudos. My fanfics still get kudos. I've posted stuff from years and years ago, and they still get love.
I know, but I need. Mine has to be from the right people. I need the people who made Persona to come and tell me how great I am.
Okay.
It's like if somebody else who also likes Persona is like, "You did a great job," I'll be like, "Thanks." But if the
trust the fans, probably. Here's the thing. I've recently divorced J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter. So I at a certain point, I do understand what you're saying, but also sometimes creators aren't all that, and I will take the adoration of other people who love the thing.
Like in all of my fandoms, like in my love interest, like in everything I do, I've put these people on pedestals they do not deserve to be on, and it is unsustainable. But I still want them to tell me I'm a good boy. Blame the lack of love from my parents.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't pick someone who will never tell me that, it won't really be a parental son relationship. So, see? All right.
So, therapy.
We'll start here. Let me tell you about my mom, Cecilia. No. Why don't you tell me your experience with the Persona series? I know you played a couple hours of 5 at my urging.
You did? Yeah, I was gonna say I did attempt to start the game,
which is how you know that this follows it.
Yes, so that is how I know. Closely. And honestly, like, the art was really nice. I really liked the character design. I just couldn't get into the gameplay. That's actually what while I was reading this on break at the place that we are both imprisoned sometimes, and someone was like, did I play the games that went with it? And I'm like, I tried really hard, and like the graphics were pretty, the story is good. The gameplay, I just couldn't...
Someone told me, or it might have been a review, I don't remember where this little fun bit came from, but someone was like, the thing I hate most about Persona 5 is that even the menu screens are even cooler than I'll ever be. I was like, it's true. It's got an aesthetic that is just out of this world. And that cool factor carries over from the other Persona games as well. And it's all... oh man, now I can't remember the dude's name. I have like 4 of his art books, so this is especially shameful. But the guy who does all the art for the Personas, that is not allowed. Hold on a sec. I'll delete all this.
So while he's doing that, I will go ahead and say I do have a very limited exposure to Persona 5. But I have to say, even this book, just the artwork was really pretty to read.
As I already knew and did not have to go look up, Kazuma Kaneko is the artist of this stuff. And right now, I am showing Cecilia the freaking art of this master who can do everything from zombie cops to all sorts of spiritual creatures. Yeah. Oh, man. And yeah, once you've decided you're going to take from every form of fiction ever, you got a big playground.
You do.
And as we go on, I'll talk about, in my opinion anyway, why Persona 5 and these masks seem to resonate, and this idea of a persona resonates with Japanese people so much. As a white person, I think I know best, and I will explain it as we go.
Sounds like a history book from elementary school.
Yeah. I actually read, I got some... consenting opinions from people who are actually in the culture, if that helps at all.
It does help a little bit, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're going to jump in on Chapter 1, and we open up on our main character. We have a little preview here with a little poem. Not really a poem, but a little...
More like a prophecy.
Yeah, a little prophecy. Our pact is sealed. I am thou, thou art I. Thou who would commit all manner of blasphemy for the sake of what you deem just. Shout my name and loose thy rage. I'm like, chef's kiss. Show the strength of thy will to judge all that ye see, even though it will lead you straight to the gates of hell.
He's a little ominous in his beginning there, yeah.
All of them are. And I think I like it because in the manga as well as in the game, they're kind of, every time a persona presents itself, which usually happens under extreme stress. The persona is always like, are you sure you want this? This is a whole lot of power, and it can corrupt the hell out of you if you're not careful. And, of course, the characters who are getting ready to usually get killed by something are like, yeah, I think I'll take that chance.
Look, it's this or death.
Yeah. But there's a lot of struggling with these personas, with these alternate powers that you have, which I really dig. And I also like that the personas often seem a bit more amoral, and it's kind of up to the characters to use them.
In a good way?
Yeah, much like the gods of old. Like, if you could summon Ares, like, that he was not a good dude. Like,
yeah?
He was a creepy dude who reveled in bloodshed, and had consensual as often as unconsensual sex with Aphrodite. Like, a bad guy. Like, just all around a bad dude. But if I could use his power to kill presidential candidates or whoever. I would make great use of Ares. And
here's the thing: if you're going to be doing that, you might as well go with Zeus, because he's just as bad. But you could lightning bolt some people.
You could.
I prefer. See, here's the thing: if I were going to be like a an actual killer. I'm much more of the hide in a building.
Distance?
Yeah, hide in the building from very far away and what's that called?
Coward.
Well, also that.
Sharpshooter?
Sniper. Yeah. I'm much more of the sniping type than I am.
I'm definitely. I've always been a say I'm sorry, and then when you turn your back to me, I hit you with a bat. Like, that's just the way you operate.
Yeah. No, it's smart. You gotta be...
Absolutely. So we have a very quick scene of a woman getting pulled away by a stranger, and our antagonist, who is Akira Kurusu, Akira for short. Yeah, named after a famous manga/anime. He's kind of gripping his fist at his side, but it's just a flashback. He's on a train heading into Tokyo.
A flash forward in the
back to the present, I think. And he's on the way. He sees he's kind of nervous because he's from a little town out in the boonies, and this is little hick boy in the big city kind of deal.
Yeah.
And he sees a sign that there have been random violent acts on the rise. Sudden massive increases in unprovoked violent incidents. What made them snap? What a very weird thing to scroll across your subway train.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but he gets out, and he is in Shibuya Station in downtown Tokyo. Shibuya is world famous for being the most confusing train station in the fucking world. If you type in Lost in Shibuya, you will get a million hits. And it doesn't matter whether you're on TikTok, Google, Instagram, wherever you are, because it is confusing as hell. And it comes out right near that famous dog statue and the busiest intersection in the world. It's basically like the Times Square stop in New York City.
Okay.
But it is very confusing. So we get a little bit of him not knowing where to go and asking a policeman and getting directions. And everywhere he's going, half the tracks are closed, and it's very realistic.
I appreciate the honesty of it.
Yeah, very much so. And he comes out, and you get a shot of the busy intersection. And he's got a weird app on his phone. He's like, did I accidentally download this? Everyone has accidentally pocket dialed people. I don't know if I've ever... Our boy
here has clearly never heard of the idea that you shouldn't press on random links on your phone.
You should not. Hey, I was going to say, I've butt dialed occasionally, but I've never butt downloaded and installed an app. That's a new one.
I've accidentally deleted apps I didn't mean to delete.
Oh, no.
But and he just hits it. There's no...
He does tap it. At first I thought he was trying to move it to the trash, but whatever happens, he hits it and everybody freezes except him. Which, of course, this would happen at Shibuya so that you can see every single person not moving except him. And he looks, and all of a sudden, a little bit ways in the distance, it kind of looks like a fiery phoenix flies down, but it's actually him holding a strange mask and with a strange energy being behind him. I will say, love this smirk. He's got it's on page 17. It actually ended up being my favorite panel just because I love his expression.
The art is really good in this.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no complaints about the style.
Big fan of the art. And Akira is pretty much your cookie cutter protagonist.
Yeah,
He's got the long black messy hair. He's got school uniform, glasses. Come on now. So he's finally deletes the app. He's like, oh, well, that was weird.
Yeah. What is that? And then gets rid of it. Some grade A denial of things that are weird.
It is a common trope in Persona games. In Persona 3, your dude is walking at night, and all of a sudden, everyone turns into coffins that are bleeding, and he just keeps on. He looks around. He's like, whoa, that's pretty weird.
Yeah. Not dealing with that.
It's even
you
weirder.
know what?
In Persona,
mad respect.
Yeah, right. It's like, you know what? I'll chalk this up with global warming. It's just too big for me. I can't fight this.
There clearly is something happening here. I clearly don't feel like dealing with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on our merry way. Y'all have fun.
Yeah. He's a real do no harm, take no shit kind of guy. As Cecilia's water bottle is also telling me.
It sure does.
So, yeah, it is a common trope. In Persona 3, it's even funnier because he's a silent protagonist. So, like, he doesn't even say anything. You just get a couple dots and on he goes.
Here's mad respect.
Yeah.
I actually, in the midst of my shit talking, was like, you know what? No, that's what I'd do too.
Yeah.
But, like, this is weird.
But I deleted the app, so problem solved.
Clearly something bad's happening.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep looking in this direction and walking.
Yes. So he eventually gets to where he's going, which is a place called Café LeBlanc, which...
Cafe White.
Yes, but also a character named Mark LeBlanc is the guy who wrote the book about Arsène Lupin, who is a master thief and also the persona that our main character picks up later on. So LeBlanc Cafe was the last name. People who are into older anime and manga might recognize the last name of Lupin from another popular anime, Lupin the Third, which is about a master thief doing master thief shit. And since these characters are going to eventually end up stealing hearts, it is not surprising that they all end up getting personas that are criminal or thief adjacent.
Yeah.
We will get to more of them as they go. But he shows up at LeBlanc. There's only one person in there. One old man, one sad little old person. And he gets up and says, I'm leaving the bill, leaves the money on the table and walks out. And now we are going to meet Sojiro Sakura, meaning cherry blossom. This guy is no cherry blossom. Sojiro is kind of a grumpy old man.
He's my favorite kind of combo of like the kind of dude who will clearly go out of his way to help you while saying how much he doesn't care about you.
Exactly.
I have a soft spot for those characters.
I kind of do too. He's a real tough love kind of guy.
No, it's not even a tough love. It's like a maybe this is projection on my part, but it's kind of like a sort of way of insulating yourself from whatever the outcome's going to be of this weird situation. It's kind of a self-protection
Absolutely.
thing.
Also probably a little toxic masculinity as well. Like, I'm not going to show caring or feeling for you.
I'm just going to wake up early and make you breakfast.
I know. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. So Kid comes in and Sojiro's basically reads him the right act. He's like, look, you got this is your last chance before boot camp or prison. So if you 1 foot out of line, 1 foot out of line, kid, and you're fucking done. Yeah. I've only taken you in because I'm a friend of your parents, and I'm already regretting it. Like, he just straight up.
He's straight. He does not mince words or pull punches. No. He is straight like, you fuck up, you're done. Also, I don't know why I'd agreed to do this in the first place, so I'm already not feeling it. Like, I expect you to stay in line. Go to bed. Yeah.
And Akira's like, hey, there was a lot of police around. Is that normal? Did something happen? And Sojiro's like, don't care. Like,
no, I'm not asking questions.
Anything happening outside of my curry coffee shop, not my problem.
I got bills to pay and food to cook.
I got bills to pay and an extra mouth to feed.
Whatever happens out there.
Yeah, that's an out there problem. Yeah. So he takes him upstairs and he's got a little like loft above his coffee shop. And he's like, I actually have a house I'm going to go to at night. You can sleep here. Clean it up yourself.
Also, I lock the doors at a certain point, and if you're not in here before I lock the doors, you're out of luck, buddy.
Right. You sleep in the alley next door. And he basically tells him why, or he's like, so you got kicked out because a man was beating his girlfriend. You intervened and hurt the guy. And
he pressed
charges. Because it turned out he was kind of, I don't know if they explain it here, but you'll find out he was kind of a bigwig. Yeah. And so of course they believed him over high school punk coming home a little late at night.
I wrote down, because the manga starts out with him having a dream about the lady he protected.
Yes.
So I wrote down beautiful and sad, the hallmarks of a Reno pick.
I'm here for you folks. For my emo kids, give me a shout out.
And I also wrote down, this is basically just the start of the video game, right? Like, This is exactly, almost like
it was surprising how close it hugged. I wonder if in later volumes it goes a little further afield, but it's very similar.
I wrote down here, he helped a lady out with an abusive partner and then got kicked out of school for his trouble.
Weirdly, the cops made the wrong call and punished him, not the
cops didn't
not the rich
people?
politician who was beating his girlfriend, and his girlfriend who was too scared to say what really happened.
Yeah, the cops don't protect people.
Not in this case. Although one earlier did give him directions, so honestly, I'm 50-50 on the cops in this book.
Okay,
they might arrest you for murder, but they will give you proper directions. So, it's a wash. He lays down, and he thinks back to more of that experience, and it seems like he punched that dude in the eye. Go Akira. And he's like, oh, man, was it worth it? My parents sent me here so I wouldn't get sued. Kind of. And he sees that eye thing on his phone again. He's like, I'm pretty sure I deleted this thing. So he starts tapping it again, trying to put it back in the trash.
Stop clicking on weird links.
Don't touch the eyeball. Yeah, it's kind of, to describe it, it's kind of like a fiery eye. It looks like the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings with a star in the middle. Made me think of
the evil eye. But...
Yeah, it's very evil eye-ish. But Akira doesn't seem to think so. He's poking the hell out of this thing.
This boy has very bad survival instincts.
He is not great at it. So he suddenly wakes up, and he's dressed as a prisoner, and he's in a jail cell. And there are these these twin prison guards, these little short kids, who are like the prison guards for him, which is weird, but there they are.
It is interesting that no one is creeped out by the motif of the persona.
Yeah.
Things.
Well,
I don't feel like I trust anything where I woke up and then they're like, I was in jail.
Yeah.
That's not the person talking to me whenever I was dealing with that. I'd be on edge about it.
I'd be a bit dubious. Which, honestly, he is relatively subdued here. Mostly it's Igor, who is our jailer. But Igor takes no responsibility for this.
No, yeah, he says this about your subconscious.
Yeah, he's like, this is your baggage that we're representing. This is a place that exists in the between dream and reality, mind and matter. Only those who have in some manner or another signed the contract may visit this room.
And this is why you don't click on links.
Right? Now then, I have summoned you here for a specific reason. There are matters of great import we must discuss, matters that have great bearing on your life. So he goes on to basically explain that because he is a prisoner of fate, that he has presented this. And this is actually called the Velvet Room, and it is another thing that has been in all the personas. But in every persona, it's different. In Persona 4, it's like a limo. Like you're sitting across from Igor in a limo that's driving through fog. And in Persona 3, it's like a weird elevator. So in every game, it's kind of a different thing. And and Igor's always there. And he always says that this is a representation of your psyche and the shit going on in your brain. I'm just the messenger that you got problems.
I don't feel like this kid needed him to tell him that he got problems.
Yeah.
I feel like he's aware.
He's like, you're a prisoner of fate, and you're going to head towards your doom if you don't make some different choices. I can help you with that. So we're led to believe that Igor is the reason these personas start awakening in people. He's got the magic touch. He brought him in and gave him the old really, really long nose wiggle, and now he's going to have persona. But he wakes up from this dream and starts getting, he's like, man, that was realistic. I still feel like there's cuffs on my arms. But whatever. Got to get ready for school. Come on, man. I sometimes make sounds at the
the obliviousness of the characters and the stuff that I read when there's romance stuff going on, and it's like, come on, he's clearly into you. How much more obtuse can you possibly be?
Right.
It is just as frustrating when someone is obtuse in these kind of situations as it is when someone clearly doesn't understand that they're trying to get dicked down. Like, this is irritating.
This guy, just let fate dick you down, Akira.
Right?
Stop fighting it.
Or, like, be a power bottom. But, like...
Yeah. You
just
got choices.
Don't just be like, oh, well.
Yeah. It must have been a dream. It's like, how many things have to happen before... Luckily, we'll get there before the end of chapter 2.
It's true. It is true. He catches up quicker.
We will catch up. But... he goes down, Sujiro makes him breakfast, which is super sweet.
Yeah, I wrote down here, the old guy acts like a grump, but seems to actually care about the kid, and then gets irritated that he cares.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it frustrates the hell out of him. I will also say that Persona is where I learned that you can actually mix both chocolate and coffee into curry to make a really delicious Japanese curry, which is not something I knew. And
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and coffee and curry is what this guy is all they serve here. He's kind of a specialist. But he's smoking, and he's telling him that their trains are having a lot of delays, so you should get your ass moving. But about 30 seconds after he walks out, it starts raining, and Sojiro's like, oh, did the kid take an umbrella with him? I'm like, oh, you cute old man.
You a big softy. You trying not to be, but you a big softy.
Yeah. So our character's like, oh man, raining. And he's trying to get to Shujin Academy, which is the school he's getting ready to start. It's actually a pretty prestigious school, and they're known for their excellent volleyball team, who's won a lot of like state championships and stuff. So as he's waiting under an awning for the rain to let up, we meet Anne, who is all we know at this point, a blonde girl. Which I will say this: in this, normally when they have blonde characters in anime and manga, they just and video games too. In Japan, they just kind of ignore it. But this girl is actually from Australia, I believe. And actually has blonde hair, and people talk about it all the time because she's in Japan, where everyone has black hair. And Ryuji, who we'll meet later, also has blonde hair, but that's because he dyes it, which is actually against the school rules, which is one of the ways you can look at him and know he's a delinquent.
Japan is so weird.
Japan, they like staying in the lines in a lot of things. So he sees Anne, he's like, hubba hubba, and a car pulls up. Before he can work up the bravery to say hi, I suppose. Window rolls down, and there's a guy there asking, hey, would you two like a ride to school?
Yeah.
And they both say no at first, but he kind of he asks, like, Anne again and again, and she eventually gets in. And he's like, what about you? Do you want to ride? And Akira is like, no thanks. Because Akira doesn't know this guy's a teacher. This is a weird situation that's just suddenly popped up.
Yep.
And I'm not sure it would be better if he did know he was the teacher.
Yeah. Teach comes off super creepy.
Yeah, Kamoshida, our gym teacher, who is a creep to the umpteenth level.
I said so from the game. I do remember that Teach is a creep, and I have to say that nothing about the way they introduce him does anything to lessen that impression.
Right. From this point, because we didn't at the top, we will warn you that there is suicide, sexual assault, and physical abuse of teenagers in this. And
by adults.
Sad to tell you, but Kamoshida is behind pretty much all three of those. He is a monster.
He is garbage.
So he's talking to Anne about how he's just here to help her out, and and he also asked how her friend is doing in a equally creepy voice, which is in my ear because the manga can't talk. I just realized a creepy voice. I'm like, just trust me on this, folks. In my head, super creepy.
Yeah, there might have been. I mean, we might be prejudiced by the game.
Yeah.
But also, he is a monster.
He is a monster. He is such a fucking monster. But then we meet one of my favorite characters, Ryuji, our fucking delinquent. Every Persona game also has a delinquent who's like not doing well in school, and everyone underestimates because, you know, in Japan, grades are key. I will also say, you all can't see this, but I'm wearing the same t-shirt that Ryuji is wearing. This is my ZOMG shirt.
Aww.
Yeah, see? ZOMG.
It is. Yeah. That's cute.
I got this in Tokyo last year because I love this game. So he pulls up, he's like, that fucking perverted teacher, he's just yelling out loud.
Yep.
And Akira's like, what? And through a couple of hilarious misunderstandings, we eventually Ryuji figures out that Akira is new to the school and in the same class as him.
Yeah.
And
it's a meet cute.
Yeah, it's a meet cute. And Ryuji out loud talks about Kamoshida, and he's like, that guy acts like he's king of the castle, Kamoshida, blah, blah, blah. We'll find out later that the way this weird phone app works is you have to find 3 key words to open up the way into their heart. And it's Kamoshida and King of the Castle and something else he says. I don't remember. But as they're saying it, all of a sudden, Akira's phone just starts emitting this crazy noise. And they're both like, oh, my head. And then they look up, and Shujin Academy is now a towering castle.
Purely by coincidence.
And
so, I know that it's not the case.
Yeah.
But I feel like, because when I first played it and I didn't fully understand all of the little parts of it.
Sure.
It feels almost like the kids dictated what was about to happen. Like they're the ones who set the playground up almost by the words.
Yeah. But it just so happens that they guessed correctly.
Yeah.
What the words were. And there's a cool scene of, like, them running through puddles and, like, the water coming up and, like, kind of freezing. Mm-hmm. Because they're in a weird, different time zone now, to say the least.
Right.
And it's a weird castle. And I love how oblivious Ryuji is to his school. Because he's like, hey, the building didn't always look like this, did it?
Yeah, I wrote down here, dude asking new kids for directions. Like, where are we supposed to go?
Yeah, and Akira's like, it's different from the picture I saw at the school website. Like, he can't help, man. Like, he's never been here. But the sign still says Shujin Private Academy. So they go wandering in, and it's a...
Is this where they make the furry reference? I've got it in my notes.
I don't know. I missed the furry reference.
Persona.
Which is surviving. A furry reference?
Yeah, they said something about a fursona.
A fursona? Oh, no, that's not till our kitty cat shows up. But, fursona, I forgot about that. Yes.
I wrote it down.
It's very good. So they see a strange knight, and, of course, we jump to the conclusion that they're cosplaying, because that's big in Tokyo. But this knight immediately slams his shield into Ryuji and, like, takes him down. And Ryuji... on page 57, much like our we're in chapter 2 now, I should have mentioned. Much like our old man is looking out. He's like, Akira, run for it. Like, although he doesn't even know his name yet. He's like, get out of here, man. Shit's gone south. And he says, you better get out of here, run. And I'm like, aw. Ryuji, you're a good guy under all these delinquent allegations.
Here's the thing. I am of the opinion after reading this and, you know, like how until I meet my husband and stuff, that the things Japan considers delinquent are too numerous and shouldn't be trusted.
Well, yes. Some of the things that they consider delinquent are not joining any school clubs.
Yeah. And they like to gossip so damn much.
Dyeing your hair.
I got at a certain point, we'll get to it, but at a certain point, especially when he actually finally gets to scholl.
It's been a journey.
When he actually finally starts getting to school. So I'm one of these people that, like, as I've explained to my husband before, if you ever accuse me of cheating and I haven't done it, I'm going to after we have the fight about it. Because if I'm going to be dealing with the bullshit that comes after... I'm definitely going to do the thing now.
I'm going to write that down.
You've made it a thing.
Just make a note of it. For reasons unrelated to anything we're talking about here. Okay.
But if I'm dealing with the stress and the bullshit, I'm going to at least have
you should
the
have
fun
the benefit, yeah.
That I've supposedly... And the way they treat this kid...
Oh, kids!
Yes.
The way they treat Anne, the way they treat Akira, the way they treat Ryuji.
Yeah, like at a certain point, I'm gonna be a delinquent just because y'all keep saying shit.
Well,
we're going to have problems.
This was, again, I spent a couple of years in the Japanese school system, and this was a real thing. Like, if kids didn't have their uniform on properly, like, even if there's a certain day where you switch from your summer uniform to your winter uniform, and a certain day when you switch back, and if a kid switched early or late, it was seen as, like, delinquency. Hair dye's delinquency. Now, the other side of this coin is, like, Japan has a serious problem with bullying. Like, bullying kids to the point that, like, they're killing themselves. Or
maybe it's the lack of understanding of anything that's slightly remotely different in any kind of situation at all, ever.
There's an expression in Japan, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. And, man, it is true in school. And it's kind of funny, because until like, kindergarten... Kids are allowed to just do whatever. Like, you'll see little 5-year-olds on the train just running back and forth and, like, screaming at strangers and jumping on people's laps. And they really do, it kind of... Now, again, this was like 12 years ago, and I was in a very small town. So take all this with those caveats. But it really was it takes a village to raise a child mentality. But, man, once school starts... The hammer comes down. The hammer comes down on that nail, and kids are now wear the uniform. Conform. You need the same backpack everyone else has. You need the same pencils everyone else has. You need the same notebooks everyone else has, and from there till high school. Then in college, you get another reprieve where you get to act wild. Then you go into your career for 50 years until you die, and then you also have to conform then. So you get from like 18 to 22, and from like 0 to 5. Those are your years to sow your wild oats. And if you haven't done it by then, that's it. You don't get another chance. And yes, I agree with you. I don't think that's good.
I reading this, because this isn't, most of the shit I read is like romance novels, and like the little odd, like Sasaki and Miyano. It's all like this really nice, idealized version of what society could be like if people weren't shitty. Yeah. And reading this, it was just like, oh my god, I'm going to jump in the book and kill people just because. Like,
you really want to. At
a certain point, I have earned... You've talked so much shit. I have earned the right to go ham. Yeah. Like, I have earned it.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, like, I really enjoyed this game, and they released an updated version called Persona 5 Royale, which has like 30 extra hours. It's awesome. But so like instead of a 100-hour game, it's 130 hours.
Nice.
But one of the things that kept me playing was I wanted these kids to be okay, and I wanted to see how they like got out, because you meet like, I think there's 8 in all.
Yeah.
And they all have horrible problems, because each time you're changing the heart of an adult who's doing horrible things. And every time you meet a new character, you're like, I want to see this person like thrive and overcome. And the time when they like finally lose their shit and get their persona, it's like, you're just fucking shaking your fist for it. You're like, yeah, fuck them up, man.
They've earned this.
Yes, they had this coming.
Yeah. It was so frustrating to read. I think I make plenty of notes of like...
damn it, motherfuckers, fucking damn it. So we crawl into chapter 3 with Ryuji and Akira have both been arrested. Well, I don't know what you call arrested in medieval times, but they're
taken
both
before the
in
king.
A cell, yes. And they're very confused, as you might guess, and they're trying to get out. And there's someone in the cell next to them, telling them to calm the hell down.
Making too much noise.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to come up with a plan. Could you two shut up? Like, if either of you had a persona, maybe that would help, but you don't, so shut up. and Ryuji's already fighting with this person next door. This goes through the entire game. These two not getting along. And Ryuji's like, if you could get out, you would have got out, so shut up.
Yeah, this is where we get a Fursona reference, and I wrote down obligatory furry reference acquired.
Yes, cha-ching. But as they are making too much noise, as they were warned by the next door neighbor, you hear silence. And our king has arrived. And weirdly enough, dude looks just like Kamoshida. Mm-hmm. If he was wearing a kingly robe with hearts on it and pink underwear. You can't see it's pink unless you played the video game, but trust me, it is. And a crown. So he looks like if Hugh Hefner once decided to be a king. Like, he's ridiculous looking. But I guess if you can't be comfortable in your own castle, where can you be comfortable?
I was very grossed out by the design.
As intended, I dare say. As intended. Yeah. Yes, so, Jesus Christ. So he opens up the cage because Ryuji asked him to. Ryuji's like, I'm going to report you, man. Like, you can't put kids in cages, you fucking weird teacher.
Someone should tell the U.S. government that.
Yes. Agreed. So, surely enough, the cage door opens. And Ryuji comes out. He's like, finally, this is what I asked you to do from the... And then, boom, Kamoshida punches him right in the face. And then steps on his head.
I know Ryuji did not think it was going to be that easy.
Who would let trash like you walk free? Kamoshida asked. And at this point, he mentions their past. So apparently, him and Ryuji have a past. Mm-hmm. Ryuji used to be a member of the track club, and Kamoshida wanted the volleyball club to be the center highlight. So he ended up breaking Ryuji's knee, like a fucking psychopath.
Complete and utter psychopath.
Yes. Ryuji fought back, and this is why I think Akira and Ryuji become such good friends, because it's almost the exact same story. Ryuji fights back. Everyone believes Kamoshida because, oh yeah, he won a gold medal for Japan in volleyball. So that's why he is now teaching gym at this prestigious academy. And of course everyone loves him because he's a proud hero of Japan.
I don't think you should try that sentence again with just a little more slime on all the words. Ugh. I gathered all of the sarcasm with it, but it was very impressive. I am impressed.
Thank you. It's not easy. Any more slime and the words would have stuck in my mouth. But he also hits Akira. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. The moment you dared to stand up to the rightful ruler was the moment you showed yourself for the mannerless trash you really are. Jesus, what
says the man creeping on teenage girls.
And also beating up high school boys in his underwear. So, yeah, none of this is great.
No, it's just you got some balls to be calling other people trash, motherfucker.
Yeah. But Ryuji, once again, showing the stuff he is made of, tackles Kamoshida from behind and tells Akira to get the hell out of there. Again! And I'm like, oh, fucking Ryuji, you're the man. Kamoshida, unfortunately, this is his kingdom, so he's king here, and he easily takes out Ryuji and Akira, and he's asked them to beg. He's like, look, you beg, I'll let you go. No, I'm sorry, I might let you go.
I mean, depends on how I feel.
Yeah, but Ryuji...
I do identify with that particular line.
Ryuji straight up, nah, I'll die before I bow to you.
I also identify with that line.
Unfortunately, Kamoshida decides to take him up on that and just starts beating the ever-loving crap out of him.
Feel familiar.
Yes. Akira tries to help and gets kneed in the stomach by one of these knights that Kamoshida has around him. And he's watching this guy just getting destroyed. And Akira's trying to get up, but he can't. And Ryuji's going to be beaten to death here.
Yeah, this is going to end poorly.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he starts hearing a voice in his head.
This is usually a sign of a mental illness.
Yes. He's like, at this point, your friend will die.
It's so cute that, like, he made a friend so quick.
I know, right? Have you come to think your earlier choice was a mistake? And it shows a flashback to him helping that woman. And he stands up, he's like, no. And he's got this fucking cool-ass mask on. And we're like, oh, shit, it's going down now. And Kamoshida even looks scared. He's like, whoa, where'd you get that mask? So, he rips off the mask. And the mask is, like, glued to his face. So when he rips it off, blood comes off as
Yeah,
well.
it was very graphic.
It is a painful process to turn into these personas the first time. Growth is always hard. But yeah,
Facts.
Man. Okay. So, now, a side tangent about mask in Japan.
Okay, before you get to your side tangent about Mask
Hit
in
me with
Japan,
it.
I just wanted to I wrote down, this has some real Usagi's first transformation into Sailor Moon energy about it, and I like it.
Yeah.
Now,
You here
your
for
mask.
it?
Yes.
Well, Sailor Moon. Sailor Venus, at least. Another person known to put a mask on every once in a while. Mm-hmm. So, masks are huge in Japanese culture. They've been a part of Japanese culture since history began. They've been from the famous Mask of the No plays, where you would put on masks to show demons from humans and also show facial expressions, because you were in a theater and it's much easier to see a mask than a person making a facial expression. Mm-hmm. Samurai armor had masks on it to protect the face from arrows. Religious ceremonies, dancing, but like a big part of even military costume often had mask involved. But the thing about Japan, where mask, I think, and I'm not the first person. This is not my own.
You did not come to this by yourself.
This has been stated many times for many years. Mm-hmm. But Japan has a thing called hone and tatame. And hone is, well, it literally means true sound, but it actually means like the voice of your heart. It's your true face. It's the hone is who you act, how you act around friends, family, people you are extremely comfortable with. Tatame is called the outward face, and that's the face that you show in business meetings and at work, and like in when you're talking to the gas station attendant when getting gas. Like, that is your outdoor face. Mm-hmm. So tatame and hone are constantly in conflict. Who your true self is versus the self that you have to present to fit into Japanese society.
Yes.
So it is completely unsurprising that masks have such a big part to play in so many Japanese stories.
This was mentioned slightly in the Until I Met Your Mother, or Until I Met My Husband episode, when they're talking about the different faces.
Yes.
So yeah, I understand the real life application of this.
It's true. I don't know if I may have even brought up hone and tatame, because it's such a common thing in Japan. It's just a understood thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's similar to how we code switch here.
Yeah.
When you go to church, you probably cuss less than when you go to work or when you're at home. But that being said, the degree to which it is done in Japan is on a whole nother level, to the point that they came up with words for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently his persona is now convinced he's willing to fight. He says, "Though let me see you struggle and fight, our pact is sealed. I am thou, thou art I. Thou who would commit all manner of blasphemy for the sake of what ye deem just." I love that, because you think blasphemy, you think, oh, I'm going against the common beliefs of, in this case, blasphemy, the church, right?
I see blasphemy, I think, oh, I'm going against God, but...
Well, yeah, but the whole idea of blasphemy, I feel like that was... The church came up with that. That's not a...
No, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true, but I see it and I do think of, like, blaspheming against God.
Yeah.
Granted, the church is the one who sets those guidelines, but
Right.
supposedly the church speaks for God, which is also bullshit, but,
Thankfully, otherwise this metaphor, get ready to rock, wouldn't work. But...
Rock your metaphor,
well,
Reno, rock it.
It's more of a simile. And probably saying like an ass. I don't know. Haven't thought that far ahead. This just came to me. You can look at my notes if you need proof. But yeah, blasphemy. The idea that you're fighting against these rules that were established by a higher power, but you're doing it for justice. If a heretic's being burned at the stake because they thought they were a witch and you saved them, technically you're committing a blasphemy, but you're doing it for justice, so you're actually on the right side of the law here. And he says, "I'm the pillager of twilight," which is... God, I wish that was my moniker. Reno Valentino, the pillager of twilight.
Big question.
Yeah.
What is your moniker?
Arsène Lupin, the gentleman thief, who, as I said earlier, was created by Maurice LeBlanc.
The Gentleman Thief. That's actually what Naoki Taiuchi used for the inspiration of Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, and that makes fucking sense.
Yes.
Yeah, if you ever see pictures of the Gentleman Thief.
Well, it's mentioned in, I think, either some of the fan art book or maybe like in the notes after the end of the manga.
Yeah.
And it just now actually clicked.
Oh, that's fun. Connections.
Yeah. No, that is the Gentleman Thief. The Gentleman Thief is what the basis for the character of Tuxedo Mask, like the character design and
so
shit
yet
is.
another character based on Arsene Lupin. And if you remember this character from Persona 5 when he's fully decked out, him and Tuxedo Mask, he could probably be a stunt double for Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah.
Like, very similar. He's got a similar looking mask, also dressed in black. Like, yeah. So, he now has this fucking superpower. And Kamoshida's scared, so he summons a couple of jack-o'-lanterns. So in this game, you're also fighting other fictional characters.
Right.
Like, Jack-o'-lantern. And when you beat them, you can actually take them, into you and then summon them as well. They don't seem to go through this in Volume 1. I don't know if later they'll touch on it. But our main character can have, like, all the personas. Like, he can take them all and put them in a book and pull them out when he needs them. Because he has that pact with Igor, which sadly Anne and Ryuji do not. Spoiler, they're going to get personas too. But Arsene comes out and just runs roughshod over all these silly little clown people. Just decimates them. And I love it.
There's a lot of action scenes. There's a lot of me fast scrolling, basically.
He goes, well, not bad for your first battle. You pass. And there's a picture of him just blowing up everything. It's like, man, if that doesn't make him pass, I don't know what else would.
Is the kitty cat
coming up next?
Okay.
Yeah, Kamoshida's like frozen in place. And Ryuji, once again earning his stripes, slams into him and locks him in his own cell. Chef's
Beautiful,
kiss.
yes.
So perfect. Let the punishment fit the crime.
He does belong in jail.
Yes. But someone next to them says, hey, let me out. And this is when we get introduced to our mascot, Morgana the cat. Mm-hmm. Yes, our big-headed cutie pie. This is Chapter 4. Another thing every Persona has is a cute little mascot. Persona 4.
As you should.
Yeah, in Persona 4, it was Teddy, who was like a little big fat teddy bear that ran around.
Japan likes its mascots.
And they should. Just as you said, I love a good mascot.
Hey, not knocking it.
Yes. So the cat's trying to convince them to let it out. Which they eventually do, because the cat says, hey, I know a way out of here. You guys don't. So...
The not talking cat over here is surprised when they don't know anything, despite the fact that no one has explained anything at any point ever.
It might be why they don't know anything.
Although On the Run might not be the best time to stop and explain it.
Absolutely. We'll talk about this later. Yeah. And so the cat says, this is a palace. Palaces manifest from a person's twisted desires, a sort of second reality that reflects what they believe. That this place looks like a castle means that its master views the real-world school as his personal castle. And of course, we are talking of Kamoshida now.
Yeah, fuck that.
Who Ryuji calls an egomaniacal bastard. And,
Amen, brother.
Yeah. They find some students who are being horribly punished in this castle. Physical torture. Inside Kamoshida's tender-loving training dungeon. Which, let's be honest, this guy is a sadomasochist freak. He's a freak show.
Tender-loving training.
I have to assume he's getting his jollies off beating the guys as well as he is doing horrible things to the women. He just seems like a monster all around.
You know what? This is fair.
Yeah.
This is fair.
And Ryuji, once again, is like, we need to save these people. And the cat's like, they're not real people. They're Kamoshida's, like, mind puppets. But it means that he's probably doing this to them in the real world, too. Yeah. Or something similar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would not manifest so strongly in this world. And they basically are like, all the prisoners are like, just leave us alone. You can't defy the coach. I mean, he's the king of the castle. And Ryuji is getting so mad. I love how bad Ryuji constantly is. He is so pissed.
Poor little tsundere boy.
Yeah.
Just ready.
Ready to punch all the time. He's yelling, which of course brings down more knights on them. And our cat shows off his persona, who is Zoro, yet another character from writing who is considered an outlaw and outside of the justice system. Yes,
I remember the Zorro movies.
Yes, they're also
Antonio Banderas, real hot.
Yeah. Who was he with? Salma Hayek or
no?
The other black-haired lady whose name I always forget.
Catherine. No.
Zeta-Jones.
Yes.
Yes. Also hot. That fight scene where they're cutting each other's clothes off. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this Zorro is much more strange. It's a very strange version of him, as it is a strange version of Arsene. Our artist takes very, very liberal. That's the word I'm looking for.
Interpretations.
Liberties or interpretations of these characters, which I like. You get to see them in a very different light than normal. But Zorro comes out and does the same whooping of the ass that we saw Arsene do earlier.
Look, they need their ass whooped.
They do need their ass whooped. Here. And Ryuji's starting to feel like a third wheel here because he does not have a persona. And Kamoshida shows up and the cat gets them out just in time. He's like, you guys are actually kind of slowing me down. I'm looking for a treasure. Goodbye. He throws them back to the real world.
Look, y'all don't know what you're doing. Leave.
Yes. Exactly. And like true Japanese students, the most important thing is that they're late for school. So they have to get up and run to school. Like you do. Ain't that just the way?
And then they get to school, and everyone and their mama decides we're going to talk about how late you are.
Sadayo Kawakami, who is the homeroom teacher of both of them, and is very upset that they are late. Especially, she's not surprised at Ryuji. Apparently he has a habit of showing up late. But Akira, you're trying to turn over a new leaf. It's your first day, man! And it's not like they can explain where they were. Nothing you can do. So...
And the whole time, everyone in the background is just like,
whispering.
Is that the boy? Is that the boy?
Late on his first day, I heard he got expelled from his last school for beating a student to death. Like, yeah, the rumors are already...
I mean, I wrote down, really, though, just how small is this town or school? How into
It's in the center of Tokyo.
How into everyone else's business are these people?
Yeah.
Also, if he's protecting someone, why isn't that mentioned in the story? That bugs me, too. And then I wrote down, this has all the makings for a tragic tale. Mm-hmm. And he should just get to kick someone's ass for free just for all this shit talking.
Right? He should just start punching students.
Yes.
I mean, that, as you said earlier,
keep running your motherfucking mouth.
If you're going to get accused anyway, have the fun. Punch those kids.
I done the fight. You already know me, apparently. Yeah. I have nothing else to do. Let's just do this. Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's 6 chapters to this, and as we head into chapter 5, guess who shows up in the hallway? Kamoshida himself. Ryuji, usually so calm and cool and collected, immediately comes after him. You jerk, you're going to pay for all that crap you did to be in the castle. Kamoshida does not know what the fuck he's talking about. This is when we discover that inside his spirit world version of him, they are loosely connected, but they don't. The one in the castle...
It's not one-to-one.
Yeah, the one in the castle knows what the real one does. The real one does not know what the one in the castle does.
It's sort of like how you make daydreams when you're, like, doing other things. You can make little, like, alternate things that could happen in the world. Yeah. It's sort of like that. You know what's going on there, but they don't know what you're doing here. Yeah. Because it's not real.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, very much. But I do think, like I said, things in the alternate world do affect this world, and I think Kamoshida's, like, animosity towards Akira, just right off the bat, is because of the fucking with him in the other world. Like, he doesn't know that on a conscious level, but I think subconsciously, while Kamoshida has suddenly got such high hate for these two, because I assume he'd forgotten Ryuji as soon as he had gotten, pushed him out of the way. I mean, like, he got what he wanted, and, like, but now suddenly these two are, like,
well, I don't think it helps Akira at all that he's friends with Kamoshida.
You mean with Ryuji?
Ryuji,
Oh, yeah. It absolutely does not, because both his homeroom teacher and Kamoshida were like, shouldn't hang out with that kid. But Kamoshida, I think because he is in front of the female teacher, is playing the nice guy here. Like, even though Ryuji calls him a bastard, he's just like, oh, you wound me with your words. Please, Ryuji, just go to class. I'll let this slide. Come on. And he tells Akira, he's like, don't listen to the rumors about you. Like, just keep your head down and do. But then he does a little like, this is your last chance, right? Little subtle threats at the end, because that's how gaslighting school teachers do.
Okay. Anyways.
No, if you need your vent, now's the time.
Just a deep breath.
Yeah.
Just a deep breath.
That's fair. We'll allow it. So he goes into class, he introduces himself, says he was sick earlier, so that's why he wasn't in the first half of school. It's even funnier in the game, because in the game, Kawakami tells him to do that. She's like, I don't want to deal with, like, this bad boy rep you're going to get, so just tell them you were sick, okay? Like, let's just breeze past this. Which I think she was doing to give herself less headaches, but also to try and tone down all the shit that's being said about him. So I think she kind of had a half-decent reason but for whatever reason, he lies in front of class that he was sick. But as he's walking by Anne, who we'll meet later, she calls him a liar. He's like, yeah, you're waiting at the same place I was, so you were ready for school at the same time I was ready for school. So,
it was a sudden bout of tummy problems.
Yeah. It happened right after you got into the car with that dude. And people are also talking about Anne and how they're pretty sure her and Kamoshida are an item. And, is she messing around with... She knows Akira. I saw her say something to him. Is she cheating on Kamoshida? Rumor bullshit. You can't cheat
on a teacher because...
That shouldn't be happening.
Yes!
Yeah, absolutely.
That was... I did side-eye that piece of dialogue real hard. I'm like, look, if the teacher... is assaulting his students, which is what this is, regardless of anything else, then she's not cheating on him, because this is not a relationship. They're not boyfriend, girlfriend. He's a fucking adult.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
He's a rapist, so... It would be weird to say she's cheating on her rapist.
With
someone her age.
When you say it like that.
Yeah. The way it should have been said. Right. You mean.
Exactly.
So
That's
rumors,
exactly what I mean.
Yeah, rumors are flying. Everyone's like, oh, I wish we didn't have Akira in our class because he's a thug, blah, blah, blah.
I really want to hurt people.
Yeah, Akira comes out and Ryuji meets him in the hallway. Calm and cool, just kidding, yelling like a madman. But, honest to God, he's like, look, we gotta help these kids. If they're getting beat in the dream world, they're getting beat in the real world. Let's get them to confess. We'll get Kamoshida turned in. And Akira's on board. So these are good kids.
They are good
They're trying
kids.
to do the right thing. Akira goes home, goes to sleep, and guess what? He's back in prison. Igor
Boy, you need therapy.
Yes. Igor's super excited because he's like, man, you awakened your persona like that. Nice work. Hey. And he's like, and he explains he's the one that gave him the eyeball app, which you should have been able to guess if you look at Igor's eyes, which are bloodshot and like 10 feet wide. His eyes are as big as his nose, and they're both very, very large. He looks like the Igor as if the Igor from like Frankenstein, like the assistant of Dr. Frankenstein, got a nice suit. That's what this guy looks like. Yeah,
that's fair.
So he's earned the name. And honestly, it kind of feels like he is also a fictional persona of that fictional character of Igor, the assistant to Dr. Frankenstein. That is neither.
Might as well.
Yeah. But he's like, you need to fight. You need to use your persona or else. And he wakes up before he gets the or else. Da, da, da.
I swear, you're an all-powerful little god of fate thing
but
happening.
You can't make him late for school.
But you can't time your dream prison kidnapping sequence so that he can get all the information before he has to go to school.
Yeah. No, because if there's one thing more powerful than gods, it's the Japanese school system. You can't be late. So next day is like a sports day at the school, so they will have lots of chances to walk around and question the volleyball kids, which they do. This was not as easy as Ryuji thought it would be. Ryuji has a habit of underestimating how difficult things will be.
Ryuji, bless him, thinks that the direct approach is always the best approach, and like Yeah, it can cut down on time if you're, like, in a pinch trying to do something.
Yeah.
But covert operations are like that for a reason sometimes. And maybe advertising to the king of the castle that, hey, I'm trying to undermine your authority. Not the smart move.
To be fair, Ryuji is also fearless. And ergo, he does not recognize fear in other people. So all these people are too scared to talk.
Yes, they are.
And he doesn't. That didn't occur to him because he apparently feels no fear of anything except like embarrassing himself in front of a girl he likes. Like that's like the height of fear for him. But as far as, confrontations, yeah, he's down. But yeah, they're going around, they're asking everyone. No one will talk. But then Akira...
You can't see it, but this is my surprised face.
Yeah, exactly. But then Akira and Ryuji are like, well, let's ask the women's volleyball team because none of them were in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
But they might still know, rumors might go around between the two volleyball teams. Maybe one of them can help us out. So we cut to a member of the volleyball team who's named Shio, who is a very good friend of Anne's. And God help us, Shio is the most tragic figure I've ever encountered in almost anything I've ever read.
Aww.
She is a girl who is on the starting lineup of the volleyball team but does not feel she is good enough. She fights, she trains harder than anyone else, and she's still just barely treading water. Anne's trying to cheer her up. Anne's like, come on, like, there's more to you than volleyball, my friend.
Anne is such a good friend.
And so, God, when we get the extent of what a good friend she is, yeah. Because Anne, the only reason Anne is giving Kamoshida the time of day at all is to get his eyes off of Shio. Because when Kamoshida was talking about her friend when they were in the car together, he's talking about Shio. And he keeps kind of implying, like, hey, you and me need to hang out more. Otherwise, Shio's just not performing. I'm not sure I can keep her in the starting lineup. Like, I'm not even sure I can keep her on the team. And so Anne is trying to, like, get some of the heat off Shio, basically. And Shio's like, I don't want to get benched. Shio's also got a bruised arm, which we can guess where that came from. But yeah, Shio's like, I don't want to be benched. And one of the guys from the volleyball team comes up and is like, yeah, Kamoshida's looking for you. He wants to talk to you. And Shio gets this terrified look on her face. And you're like, she knows. Like nothing good happens when you get called into Kamoshida's office. And Anne is like, just give it your best shot. And unfortunately, Akira and Ryuji show up at exactly this point and try and start talking to her, and she just runs past them. She's like, I'm late, gotta go. And then Anne gets in their face because it looks like they're bullying her friend, right? So,
yeah.
And Anne and Ryuji, which is not revealed here, but it's revealed later, they used to be really good friends, like up until about 7th grade, and then they kind of parted because Anne started traveling in one pack and Ryuji started packing. It just happens. When you go from middle school to high school, sometimes you get different friends, mm-hmm. right? And now Ryuji has a bit of animosity towards Anne because his worst enemy, Kamoshida, she seems to be making time with, or at the very least is way friendlier to him than you should be because that guy's a total douchebag.
And he doesn't understand. He doesn't
know. He doesn't know any of what's going on. And so he's being a real shit about it. He says, oh, I forgot, you're real close with Kamoshida, ain't you? Close enough to get rides to school. Because I assume either Akira told her or Ryuji's seen her take rides from him before. And so she's just fucking storms off because she's in this real bad position where she can't argue with him, but he doesn't know the whole story. And like, what you gonna do? Yell, it's none of your business and then storm off? That's gonna lead to the same conclusion. Like, Ryuji's already made up his fucking mind. And Kira's like, I think she seemed pretty upset. And Ryuji's like, oh, no, it's not as bad as it looks. And I'm like, what? Probably worse, I dare say, than it looks. But Ryuji's excited because he thought of one person they hadn't asked yet. So they corner Mishima and literally corner him. Like, Ryuji's doing the arm on the locker, like, keeping him from leaving thing. And this is when Mishima, the last guy they question, drops the bombshell, which is people kind of know what's up.
The teachers already know. The adults already know.
It's one of those worst kept secrets things. as long as their volleyball team keeps doing good, and as long as they have a gold medalist at their school, which adds to the prestige of the school, blind eyes are being turned to this stuff. And I remember getting to that point in the game and being like, these motherfuckers, like I was yelling at the screen. I was so angry. Luckily that prepared me for this, so I did not yell at my manga, but God, I'm getting mad about it right now.
Here's the thing. As a parent, right, it is untenable to always constantly be on top of every little tiny thing. I like to imagine that if something like this was happening to my children, one of them would tell me.
Yes.
Or that I would notice.
I feel like if you have a good relationship with your kids.
Yes.
You know how you get a bad relationship with your kids? If you tell them and then they tell you something like that and you tell them to suck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, but as an adult and as a parent, it is impossible to be on top of absolutely every little tiny thing and every connection your child makes when you're not there watching them. Yeah. So the concept that other adults who are feasibly, like, the thing that you think you're doing when you put your child in their area is like, I am entrusting you to take care of them.
Yes.
And so when those other adults are like, we're all going to... It's like that shit that happened with Larry Nassar. We are all going to ignore all of the stuff that we know is happening.
Yeah.
While we have your child. That shit is fucking infuriating.
Yeah.
Like, I am putting my child in your care because I don't know everything that they need to know to be a person in society, apparently. So you are in charge of making sure they're safe while they're in your care.
Yeah.
And you're not fucking doing it. Like, that shit is... Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I feel like you're especially vulnerable to it in sports. And especially men's sports, because, not to bring up toxic masculinity again, it's going to sound like a broken record, but there is this idea that the coach is supposed to run you hard. He is supposed to ignore your cries of pain and punishment, and he is supposed to punish you when you fuck up, because that's how you make a winning team. And what's more important than winning? Nothing. And the sooner you learn that, the sooner you'll be ready to be a CEO of a company. So all you fuckers get out there and run 100 laps, and if you die of dehydration, well, that's because you were weak. So... Not to the, well, actually, probably to the extreme that it happens here. We just, you only hear about it every once in a while because, again, I feel like parents and teachers know about it. It's kind of like fucking Epstein. Everyone knew he was a piece of shit. They all did jokes about it at the Academy Awards.
Same thing with that Weinstein.
Weinstein, yeah. Sorry, that's actually who I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the director guy. Whichever one was a director. And
everyone
was a pervert. Yeah, one of them was a real pervert. Not both of them. Couldn't be both of them. That'd be weird. But yeah,
it's almost like we let men in power have too much leeway.
Yeah, and it's almost like when you get too much money and you get bored, you start doing more and more fucked up shit to feel alive. It's a
revolutionary idea.
Perhaps for their own good, we should take some of that money away
and some of that power and prestige.
But yeah, like everyone knew about it. They did jokes about it. And his casting couch was a fucking punchline to stand up in every speech at the fucking Emmys. Like, this is the same thing happening here.
Yes.
So it's
100%.
It's painfully realistic, and maybe that's where so much of my anger is coming from.
No, that's it's a fair thing to be angry about.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for enabling me.
I will enable you.
I will enable you right back.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is what a symbiotic relationship looks like.
Healthy. It looks healthy to me. Anyway, Kamoshida shows up at that exact point to rub it in, basically, and then walks off smugly because, we gotta make it. The more we treat him like shit, the better the comeuppance will be later. But the last thing they see is a talking cat. And this time, it is not a big-headed mascot like it was. It's an actual cute little adorable kitty cat.
He's a baby.
He's a little baby kitty.
I love the baby.
So we open up in chapter 6, and sure enough, this is Morgana, who has taken on a normal cat form in this world. So Morgana can also travel between these two states. But when it happens, you just become a normal little kitty cat.
And they're very unhappy about it.
Yeah, Ryuji, who does not like Momo, short, which is what Morgana is nicknamed, is not super happy to see the kitty.
Well, and also, Morgana doesn't seem like he's super happy to be a cat either.
No, because Morgana was arguing I'm not a cat in the other world.
Yep.
It is a harder argument here because you are a cat.
Literally a cat.
Also, Japan loves talking cats.
They really do,
right?
though.
It just keeps happening. Happened in Sailor Moon. Here we are again, and I bet we'll see it again if we keep covering Japanese anything.
Fantasy
they love
stuff.
Talking
yes,
cats.
They do.
Anyway, now the cat fucking brings up some good fucking news. And is like, hey, guess what? In these palaces, there is a treasure. It is a thing that the owner of the palace values above all else. And if we steal this treasure, he will have what's called a change of heart. He will come. It will affect him in the real world. Him in the real world will no longer have the walls of this castle to protect him from the guilt of this bullshit he does. He'll stop being a sociopath, basically.
I only wish it were this easy.
So, oh my god, this game, like, as they go through and they're stealing the hearts of different people, and I get to watch them, like, go on news and confess to all their crimes and then try and kill themselves, or at the very least ask to be put in prison, I imagine it in the real world. Oh, and it makes my heart sing. Like,
it
what
really
a great...
does.
Because here's the thing, you never get this kind of closure in the real world.
No, you don't.
Like, Donald Trump, if he gets convicted tomorrow of every sexual assault case and goes to prison and spends the rest of his life in prison, or better yet, 2 months in prison and then gets fried in a chair, he will never confess.
No.
He will never. And there will always be people that will say he was railroaded. He was, So you don't ever get that kind of closure.
Mm-hmm.
But in this world,
it's nice.
There is a way to get that closure.
Yeah, it is nice that there is the comeuppance and because even when someone is convicted of a crime that you know that they committed, it is so frustrating when the convicted person will sit there and be like, "Woe is me, oh poor me, I didn't do anything wrong," and they still don't accept the guilt and the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
That is so frustrating.
Well, I mean, we're seeing it in real time with Trump, with Alex Jones, with like these people who it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't sink in. Nothing ever.
Their hand, they could have red up to their elbows, and it wouldn't matter. You cannot catch them red-handed enough for them to say, "Yeah, I fucked up," and you never will. Yeah. And it is frustrating, like. And this is a very wonderful world to escape to, where there is that comeuppance coming. We get a scene I will cut through very quickly where Suzu goes to Kamoshida's office, and he clearly lays out what must be done for her to stay on the team. Surprise, it's sex. We cut back to our main characters. Akira and Ryuji realize they're not going to be able to do anything else today.
So, did he already say that he's catching on to us?
Who, Ryuji?
Yeah.
About Kamoshida?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he came up on them while they were questioning a student.
I said, y'all real shit at being secretive, buddy.
Yeah. Again, Ryuji being surprised that his loud proclamations of, he's beating you, isn't he? Were overheard. Not to mention half the volleyball team, I'm sure, went back and told him as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He's on to you,
you're real shit at being secretive.
I really hate this teacher. I forgot that the weird Speedo gimmick made me.
That's enough by itself.
It made me want to laugh.
Yeah.
But I until this part that you just breezed through. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had forgotten
how much of a monster.
Yes.
Like they.
He's beating the guys. He's doing worse to the girls.
They spare no. They don't give you details, thank God, but they spare no, he's a monster.
Yes.
There's no...
For the record, this is based on a real teacher who was arrested in Japan. And I won't go... Look it up if you're interested. I don't want to go into any details of it. But, yeah. Again, this is way too real. This is way too real.
Larry Nassar. It really is way too real.
Yeah.
It is...
Yeah, here too. Yeah, I'm not throwing Japan under the bus here. The school systems... I mean, Pink Floyd did a fucking song about it in the 1980s, and I'm sure England has still got problems with it today.
And there's a lot of... because of the world we unfortunately are forced to partake in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about like the drag queen story times and how leftists and people who are less than center right or whatever get called pedophiles
And groomers.
But if you look at the actual institutions that enable pedophiles, it's a lot of churches. It's a lot
I was going to say, they're much more likely to wear what's the collar? Cossack?
a collar.
Yeah, they're much more likely to wear a collar or a coach whistle than they are to wear makeup.
Yes. there's a lack of
Give a shit?
no, well that too. But no, there's a lack of dealing with reality where the problem is that we're not addressing that the hierarchy that we have enables people with power, and most of that tends to be men, but it's not just men. Women can also be disgusting.
Yes, well, thank you, Democrats, for letting women also get those positions of power.
But that,
you know what? It might be the power that's corrupting.
That was my point.
Yes.
The hierarchies that we have in this, like Japan, like America, that enables more often men, but that enables people in power to abuse people below them and allow them to never be held accountable for it.
Yeah.
And that is what this is. And
or you
disgusting.
get them one out of a million, and you're like, got him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for every one you catch, too many are getting away with this shit.
It's so frustrating,
yes.
Reno.
And we cut to the next morning. Akira has come into school. He says good morning, and all the students just look at him. Or, in Japanese, Ohayo gozaimasu! And then sadness.
Look, he tries. Yeah. He makes a point. He has these thoughts of, like, I need to correct this. I need to, like, address at least the worst rumors. Like, you can't stop everyone, but I can at least talk about this part. And, like, this poor boy, this poor child, he should get to be a criminal. Yeah. He has earned it.
And he does. He gets to steal hearts. But
he should get to steal hearts of those little fuckers that he goes to school with.
Yes.
Fuck these kids.
Yeah, you really are robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. Like, you're doing it's thievery with, like, none of the guilt. Like robbing a bank or a hedge fund.
Yep.
So, yeah, they all start whispering, like, I heard Kamoshida yelled at him yesterday. Yeah, because Anne was cheating with him. Of course, more groundless rumors.
I hate these.
Which Anne is also, you get a shot of her also ignoring this. But a student runs in and says, Shio's on the roof. And Anne fucking immediately knows what's going. Like, Anne knows what the fuck. Yeah, so Anne goes running out. And she's yelling for Shio to come down. But Shio... She drops. She drops off the top of the roof because she can't live with what she did yesterday.
Or what was done to her.
What was done to her. What she felt like she was forced to do. And let's be honest, she probably was, because I bet if she'd said no and tried to leave, that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Because Kamoshida is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And Anne runs over to her, fucking of course, and... Everyone's like, did you call an ambulance? I thought that one had already been called. I don't want to get involved. Akira, thankfully, fucking calls an ambulance.
I hate the bystander effect.
Yes. And Kamoshida runs up, and Anne just fucking jumps in his face, and Anne's Bagal.
I love her.
Get on him. She's like, what did you say to him? What did you say to her? What did you do? After you called her to your office yesterday, I couldn't get in touch with her. And now today this. And Kamoshida... It's like, not time for that. Has an ambulance been called? Again, being the good guy.
I really hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
And Anne would love to keep yelling at him, but the ambulance shows up and they're like, can someone come along with her? And of course, Anne jumps in the back with her.
You're not letting Kamoshida anywhere near her.
Yeah, right? Because Kamoshida might have volunteered and suffocated her on the way to the goddamn hospital.
Yeah, no. Anne did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yelling at Kamoshida would have been much more cathartic, but someone needed to protect Shio.
Yeah. So, in Japan, teachers usually share offices. There's usually, like, sometimes as many as 12 in a desk in a room. Kamoshida's lucky. He is obviously only sharing his office with one guy who is not there at the moment. So, Kamoshida is sitting at his desk bitching. That bitch actually jumped. Oh, this is going to be such a pain to smooth over. Kamoshida's worry, of course, is 100% self-interest.
I hate him. So
He is worried, what will Shio say if she wakes up? Well, like, this looks bad even if she doesn't wake up because, yeah, she was seen with me. That's not great for me. Blah, blah, blah. And Ryuji's like, pain to smooth over what? Because him and Akira have come to confront him because of what just happened. I love these kids. I love these fucking kids.
The kid's heart's in the right place, but you should have grabbed an adult. I am on his side.
Yeah, but he's hot-headed, man.
I am on his side 100%. Someone needs to beat that teacher's ass.
Yeah.
But baby boy, you gotta know at this point, ain't nobody gonna trust you.
Yeah.
You gotta bring an adult.
This scene was so frustrating.
But they come in and they get in his face. And, Kamoshida, just like Cecilia, is like, what proof do you have? This is a groundless accusation. You're obviously trying to slander me. You got it out for me. And he's like, so you came in with nothing, just to yell at me. Or were you looking to invent something you could threaten me with? Ryuji's like, no, I know you did something. After you called her to the office yesterday, I talked to her and she was acting really weird. And this is where everyone smacks their forehead.
You needed an adult.
Because Kamoshida's like, oh, so you were the last person to talk to her. So you and Akira, obviously, were bullying her. Very bad, Ryuji. I'm going to write this up in a report and have you both expelled. Thank you so much for showing up, yelling at me, and giving me an out for the crime I committed. Bye, guys. And that obviously did not go well. And boy.
That scene was so frustrating.
Yeah. No kidding. And this is when Akira's like, well, let's do it. Let's change his heart. What do we have to lose now? At the next school meeting, he is going to present a report, which, how Japanese is that? Like, in America, Kamoshida would immediately go to the principal and be like, here's what I have. But it's Japan, so you got to fill out all the paperwork, and you have to wait for the next faculty meeting to present this evidence.
Well, at least that gives them some time,
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly. And the cat's like, all right, fucking A, let's go do this shit. The cat, surprisingly and unsurprisingly, shows up right at that moment. It's like, yeah, let's go get that treasure.
Did he say something to the cat?
He says all sorts of things to the cat. You mean Ryuji or Akira?
Someone says something, because I wrote down, how many talking cats do you know?
Oh, yeah. He asked if it's... When they change back and Morgana turns from cute cat to cat mascot, Ryuji's like, oh, you really were. It's like, yeah.
How many talking cats do you know, my dude? Like, what is this?
Yeah, what did you think that was going to happen? Of course it's that cat. So security's been beefed up because, again, things in the worlds affect each other.
Yeah.
So
and also,
Kamoshida in the real world is on high alert.
Yeah.
So Kamoshida in the dream world's on high alert.
Well, and also they were just there and they fucked shit up before they ran off.
Also true, yeah.
So.
Yeah, thieves have already tried to steal this treasure. So they're running around trying to find the treasure and failing because they keep running into guards. And they walk into a trap of Kamoshida. And he's like, oh, thank you. You came back so I can kill you. Appreciate it. And sure enough, a super knight shows up and just starts wailing on him. And even with their personas, Morgan and Akira are outmatched. And this is when our boy Ryuji finally gets to wake up and show his true muster. Because Kamoshida won't shut the fuck up. He starts bragging.
About how he broke the kid's leg.
Yes, which... Jesus Christ, what a fucking psycho.
Can't.
Yeah. Kamoshida was so threatened by a teenage boy
that
he broke a kid's leg
just so he can't run anymore.
Yeah, because he wanted to dismantle the track team so that all the funding would go to the volleyball team. Yeah. I broke your knee getting rid of the ace, because he was their star runner, and made up all kinds of false accusations. And everyone believed me. The track wasn't just disqualified, it was disbanded. And because you lost your cool and hit me, the rest of the team blamed you for it. Isn't that why you quit the team? You couldn't take it. You're just another loser, a waste of space. Trash like you will never beat me. And now, Akira, who's getting ready to die, is like, Ryuji, are you okay? Get it together. Do you want to die here? leave it to me and run. So Kira's paying it forward. He's like, now you have to run.
Yeah.
But fuck no, Billy. Fucking no way. He ain't running. He's got a voice in his head now. And he summons up Billy the fucking Kid. No, not Billy the Kid, right?
Captain Kidd.
Captain Kidd. Yes, famous pirate of story and fable. Another ball breaker. Yep. And dude has a cannon for an arm and a skull face, and he's badass. And then there's a great scene where Ryuji's pointing at Kamoshida. He's like, yeah, it's your turn now.
Yep.
But before we get to see how that happens, we cut back to the real world, where we have a lady talking, and she's basically talking about all the weird shit that's happening in the real world with people losing their cool.
Yep.
And we get introduced to our boy detective. Another thing that all the Persona games have. I love a good boy detective.
I'm
Goro the
ambivalent.
Detective Prince.
I am ambivalent on boy detectives. I might have been hurt by
Boy detectives in the past.
I was thinking of Light and L. The one with the notebook. Death Note?
Death Note, yeah.
Yeah, I might have been hurt by Death Note.
Well, you kind of can't have your thieves like Lupin, Arsene Lupin, and to a lesser extent, like Moriarty, without having a charismatic detective to kind of butt heads with them. This is... Basically, we're introducing our rival here. Our guy who Akira will both butt heads with, but they'll both secretly respect each other and like each other.
Again, enemies to lovers.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. Akechi Goro, the Detective Prince. And if you've played the games, you know, of course, he plays a big part, and he's very excited. All right, consider me on board. I'll solve this case for you. Also, very arrogant, right? Because you can. Yeah.
You gotta be though.
Yeah.
And then you get knocked down a couple pegs when the case isn't as easy and quick as you thought, or you learn something.
You know the beats. You know the beats. In Persona 4, just for the record, the detective was a crossdresser. They thought they were a boy for like the first half. It is revealed that it is female who is trying to get the respect that the fellas get. So dresses up as a boy detective. Yeah.
Which one was this? Persona
4.
I'm gonna have to look. I might have to look into that one.
That's so good. Oh, man, you would love Persona 4. Like the crises that people go through in that game are chef's kiss. So we get a little bit with our Murasaki, our author and artist, who, because manga artists really are not about having their face shown, puts a big M over his face and basically tells you what I've already told you. He really likes it, and he loves drawing it. And gives a little shout out especially to the ladies. We have Anne from Persona 5, and this is a character from Persona 4 and a character from Persona 3. So he's basically being like, I got cred to write this, yo. I've been playing the other games too. Which I thought was very cute.
It is cute.
I also like how, again, they just love... Man, they love hiding their identities. Manga artists just don't want to
I like it when fans get to make their stuff. Here's the thing. I understand that impulse, though, because, like... You want to get to have the fun of creating things and having people love your stuff, and then also still get to have a private life and still get to not have everyone.
It's kind of trying to get the best of both worlds, and a lot of artists and even voice actors in Japan do that to cover their identity.
I understand it.
I don't remember who, but one of them wears a big robot head when he goes to like interviews and stuff. He's like one of the famous artist or author or something who like he looks like who's the techno man, Apex Twin that always wears the robot
mask? I can only think of Marshmallow, and I only know a little bit about that because one of my god kids is into it. I don't know.
Fair enough. So yeah, that's Persona 5 as stated, sticks pretty close to the video game.
Yep.
I would like to read the rest of it and see if it continues to. I wasn't mad at it, but it was interesting.
Really pretty.
Yeah, it was very pretty. Cecilia, any final thoughts before your questions of bigness?
No, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little fun read.
Yeah. I promised that I'll get away from video games for a little while now. I've done Final Fantasy, I've done Persona, I've got my big ones knocked out of the way, so we're going to take a break on that. So, big question time, and I bet you can almost guess it. What would your persona be?
I was guessing. You're right.
It's not hard.
What would my persona be?
Fictional characters. I mean, I could straight up use the Riddler, but if I was taking someone from more mythology, this is one that actually does exist in the game. I think Narcissus. He does a lot of charm attacks
Duh.
Yeah. So.
Oh, the thing
As
is,
a warning, I will also ask you if you have any special attacks with that character.
Here's the thing: if you can take anyone from any myth, this is that thing that happens when you have when I get choice paralysis. When it's just there's so much.
What? Okay, I'm going to narrow it down and say mythology.
All right, so I was already leaning toward Aztec gods.
Fair. You're going to drop some Quetzalcoatl on us?
Well, no, Quetzalcoatl and
whatever. Water or waddle. Quetzalcoatl. Yeah. I will leave those names to you.
Do you remember the name of the goddess of death from Lady Mechanica?
I don't, but she was super cool.
Yeah. I can't recall. Hold on, I actually have my notes for Lady Mechanica.
Damn, bring it up. We can delete this.
Metacalsalhatli. Metacalsalhatli.
Yeah, that one.
That one is the goddess of death. I would probably choose her.
She's pretty badass.
Yeah,
and you can drop some insta kills on people.
Yeah. Shit. Well, in a goddess of death, I know that death is a taboo
and whatever, but also,
I really like the goddesses of death. Whether you're going Metatohatli or Hel, from Norse mythology. I appreciate the juxtaposition because I think maybe because women bring life so much, to also get to be the other half of that. I think that would be fun. My persona would be the Aztec goddess of death.
I think that would be a hellaciously good god to be. Although, can I present you in a sexy boy angel? Could have Raphael or Uriel, the metronome, whichever
the only way I would be interested in the metronome is if they're Alan Rickman again.
That would be fucking. I would like to change my answer. All right. Well, Cecilia, in 2 weeks' time, I would like to reconvene here and talk about something else. Do you happen to have something else we could talk about?
Oh, I have been so torn. So, to also not be a one-trick pony, I'm going to go back with actual manga that you don't have to look up on the internet to read. Go with I Want to Be a Wall, volume 1 through 3.
I want to be a wall.
I'm really interested. I'm very much... I started that one prior, but I haven't finished it, so I'm really interested in where the story ends up going.
Nice.
And we'll see.
Now you've got your motivation.
Yep.
I will tell you, when I do Judgmental Horror Junkies, a lot of times I pick movies that I've just been meaning to watch because I'm like, that'll make me do it.
Yeah. No, I wanted to read them, and the plot is something I find very interesting because it's a marriage of convenience between a gay man and an asexual woman, and I do wonder will they do that tired trope of they fall in love anyways, or will it be we have a nice friendship that, how will that work out?
I'm always interested in asexual characters as a thing because it's just...
Alien?
Yeah. It's very alien to me, but it's also just... It's so... I feel like it's so hard to do well because... love, romantic love, physical love is such a fallback for literature of all types. It's so hard, especially if you want to tell a love story. How do you
I imagine
thread that
a lot
needle?
of yearning and pining, and let's be honest, I get 95% of my life force from that. So
yeah,
it's gonna be sad.
Might have a happy ending though. We shall see in 2 weeks. Until then, you know all the things that I'm going to say. A lot of links in the show notes underneath this episode.
I need to find a way to draw well enough to do you doing
my hand signals
that no one can see.
We really should start videotaping these. It's just, man, what a pain that would be. But I don't know. That would be a thing I would like to add to the Patreon at some point. One of the things we have in the show notes. Also, if you cannot give to the Patreon, like, share, 5-star reviews, tell your friends that are into comics or are just extremely leftist and like hearing a good story told.
Yeah. We do talk very in depth about the stories.
We really do. But that is all. Be your own ally, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for I Want to Be a Wall, Volume 1 through 3.
Bye-bye.